Why my ass is going off the watches, man. Each one of them there morning, Monday morning, Sunday, whatever, Friday, Tuesday. Yeah, man. And I'm just going to give you a heads up. If you do videos and post them this, that, or the other, and you're like me, because I could tell you all to go blow yourself every day and not really care. But don't ever call your ex-wife the ex-Mrs. Guns Watches, because then you do things like, she looks at you like, I know where you sleep, boy. You don't do shit like that. You wind up taking videos down really quickly. Anyway, this is that there Maxpedition Vulture 2, man. And I have removed that there pocket from the outside of that there pack. And the reason it is, if I need extra room, place to put food, this, there, or the other, the pocket will go back on it. But I'm trying to right now just work within the guidelines of, or the parameters of the pack. That weight being so far back here was throwing my center of balance off, and I'm real particular about my center of balance. And you have bad hips and herniated discs and this, there, yeah, you're dumb ass. You're gonna get real, you know, you're gonna get you're real careful about the weight, man. I did go ahead, man, and change my bottle over this there, from that there metal type device to this Nalgene, which is made out of a number 2 plastic. And of course I've got my titanium cup in there and all that rigmarole, just to save weight and also deal with the center balance issue, because this one's 5 ounces lighter than the other one. And if I can't cook, that's the one thing, man. They sewed this lip a little too far over that zipper, and it causes it to get caught up all the time. But I digress, man. One thing about this pack, and this is the reason I don't build these things and don't use a lot of packs like this, is because they mandate certain requirements. I'll give you a prime example of that. I did try and work within the system of my family and everything else, and go with a knife that everyone could live with. But what I basically wound up and did was that there CQC, man, Emerson is actually what wound up back in the pack, because I really like the wave feature. I really like the ambi open. The way it's ground is ideal for left-handed use, and the length of the blade from here to here is great for tactical. And then you also have a non-lethal, as long as you don't hit anybody in the temple, then it becomes very lethal. And that's just the way it is, man. Of course, put that there compass in there, and there's a monocular in there also, and that was from Vortex. So this pack is going more tactical, of course, just because of its basic architecture. A couple things that I've added back to the pack just because I'm carrying a buttload of knives. Now, to me, a folding pocket knife and a fixed blade knife is a lot. Okay, I'm also carrying a multi-tool in here, and that is more for other things. So I went ahead and put my rod from Easy Lap. It's a 600 grit. That there rod, man, diamond rod. And then also did a few other little things. Because this has such large outside pockets, I wound up putting my first aid kit actually out here, where it's the first thing easy to grab. And also, just because of the very nature of the pack, I went with changed out my other, I went with a C2 Centurion with the KX4, this is only 120 lumen flashlight, but it is ideally set up for, you know, that dap use right there, boy. So, in 120 lumens, you won't get a lot of backwash off your a white wall and then blind yourself, basically. Another thing that I did was that boa put a plastic water bottle in there. Why is that? Well, with the Sawyer Squeeze, or the Sawyer Mini, a lot of people who hike the Appalachian Trail and do a lot of hiking use these actually as their canteens. And this is 1 liter. And then the Sawyer basically just screws on the end of it, and this becomes their bladder. And they're easily replaceable in this, that, or the other. It's also a training aid to explain to the children and to explain to other people the value of something like this. That it's not just a one-time use bottle, and these smart water bottles are they're durable. So I took out my ever new collapsible bladder, and then I'm just going to experiment with this. And this is the 1 liter. Could I use the 750 milliliter one? Yeah. But that's the way it works. I think everything else is pretty much standard, but here's the deal. What I did do was I took that there, man. I made me one of them there internal type of framage type situations. That's just a sheet, okay? This is just a sheet of, and you can see that it's already forming to the pack itself and to my thing. Now, this isn't super, this is high density polyethylene black. And let's see if we can get this thing to operate right here, man. And we going in that there millimeters, man. In that there millimetre, man. And it's not very big. It's 1.7 millimeters, which is, believe it or not, thicker than what the frame sheet that is in a Kelty map. Not the Kelty map. The Kelty Red Wing and all the Kelty packs. This is a little bit, and you don't want it to be super uber stiff, man. So it's 1.7 millimeters. I think the one they use is about 1.62 or something like that. And I think it's I don't know, 1/16 of an inch or something like that. Hell, I don't even know. You can go back to my other video where I talked about it. It was near the end, but this has helped this pack actually hold up a little bit better and work better for me. It's kind of tricky getting it in, but make sure we're putting it in the right way. And then we put it in there, and it just slips up in there. So we have a frame now that's also flexible and can bend and adapt to whatever, but it gives it a lot more support. And I know a lot of people take those things out of packs, and they do this and they do that, but I can't take the weight on my shoulder all day, and I really can't take a lot of weight. So it's basically made this pack be able to carry the weight a lot easier and a lot better for me, because this is definitely not a light setup. Now I'll show you like my multi-tool setup, which I've shown previously. I put in here, this is the Leatherman TTI, an older version, charged TTI, S30V blade, all that crap, and then an extender that also allows us to use standard bits, and then 2 racks of bits right there that are customized for my particular use. And so this little setup right here is not light, isn't cheap either. Don't hug a camera, boy, and try to miss this stuff. And because this basically is Molly, it'll hook into the PALS webbing and all the crap. And is this the best setup for this pouch? No. but it is the best one for me, and in the durability and also in the attachment. So I can attach this on the exterior of the pack. I can attach it on the, more than likely what I would do is I would attach it to the front harness. But this thing basically weighs about a pound right there alone, which is why I started dropping weight other places. And because I added a few other little things, I put a sharpener back in it because now I've got 3 knives to deal with, which to me is really one knife too many, but because one of those blades is on a multi-tool, you know, it gets a pass. It doesn't really get included, that, you know, it's not really included. But the one thing this pack is really screaming to have is a weapon, a handgun or something, and that's why this part of the belt has actually been left empty, so that I can attach a magazine. A magazine. Who put a magazine there, man? Put a handgun holster there, or, you know, below it, or however we're going to do it. And I haven't actually figured it out yet, but because of the basic modularity, because of the way the pack is laid out, because of a lot of other things, and because I've added a frame sheet to make this pack handle the weight quite a bit better, and because I've kept the weight down, this is really going to get a handgun. I haven't figured out what, and I probably will never tell you what I carry, but that's just the name of my game. I try to show you a lot of different setups. I try to show you a lot of different shit, but what I actually privately carry, unfortunately, is out of the realm and out of the scope of guns, knives, and watches. So anyway, this is it. It still is kind of batshit crazy to me, but with the pouches, with all the other, this, there, the other, with the modularity of it, the way in which I have tons of this stuff that works with pals and all this crap, and da 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 da. So I mean, is it hard for me to do this? No. In fact, it's extremely easy. But is it the right thing to do? That's a choice you have to make. And this is Guns, Knives, and Watches, and have a good one.